Alright, so today we have a surprise for you guys. We are finally picking up the S13 from Mr. Travis. And we got Ted in here too. And we're also doing a little bit of tuning on his car. So we'll show you this. Kind of saw my car in there for a second before we do a reveal. But painter Travis, Tedward, and we got the car. So this is gonna match Joe's FD that we just showed you guys in the previous drift video at GLD. Just have to button up a few things, but this is the car. So Travis, you want to tell them what you did with everything?
Full window out paint job. So we took all the quarter glass, the front window, rear window, took it completely down to a bare shell in a way, and then sprayed everything. We tinted the clear on the hood. I don't know if it comes up on the camera, but it's tinted red. We tinted the wing, we tinted everything that was carbon red, and made it pretty uniform, you know? So it came out pretty good, pretty good.
Yeah, had a bit of damage from previous drift events.
This side was completely gone on this side. Fixed it completely. Matches up. So
cool.
Looks good. Looks good.
Yeah, brand new paint job coming up for final bout. So we gotta do a little bit more work to this, new turbo kit and everything, and get it back on the road. And we also have a few more cosmetic changes, which we will show you soon as well. Alright, so we just got this back running again. Ted put in a new motor. It's on the Haltech 1500. So 2000. And just reset base timing, just kind of roughing in the fuel map. So we got to go street tune this, build it out, and make sure everything's operating properly. Everything seems to be running good. Base timing was just a little off, so we offset another 13 degrees. Fuel pressure set. And yeah, seems about it for now. Just missing a fan shroud here. We got Travis putting back together the S13 with the lights so we can drive it home. Ted's over here with the freaking quick release shifter. We're about to go out. Wild. Got trans fluid flying out the hole, so Ted's hand is the blocker. No? Yeah. A better view for you guys. Just finished tuning this thing up. Max out the injectors. They're at like 120% towards like 6,500 RPM. So I just had to back everything down. It's still on like stock boost on the T28, so just need bigger injectors for this. I'm retune it again later down the road. Alright, so we finally got the car out. Battery was dying a couple times and it's not holding a charge, so I'm currently driving to an auto store, probably switch the battery there just so we don't gotta worry about it, and had to pull off the skirts because we couldn't really make it out of the garage there, and already kind of broke one, so Travis is gonna fix that and bring it over when he brings the front bumper over when that's finished. So yeah, now I just head back home and get this thing on the lift so that we can do our other manifolds. Alright, so we just finished swapping the battery. Didn't want to risk it dying on the way home if I killed it for whatever. So got a red top, and now we are heading home to put this thing on the lift. Got Travis and Ted there. Alright, we're back at the house. Get a better view of everything. Oh, lost our little underglow wiring, but that's already been messed up. Yeah, there's the full car. I'll get this thing in the garage. Now you can kind of see in the better light, we got like the red tint in the carbon. The wing is like that as well, but he just has to finish that because there's like a chemical reaction that happened in the clear. So he's just gonna wet sand that out, re-clear it when he does the bumper. But yeah, gonna get this on the rack. I believe I'll show some tear down in this video because this one's a little shorter. So I'll at least get it torn down, and then we'll start installing everything like we showed before. So we'll probably jump cut over to that. It might be a different day when you guys see this. All right, so back on the following day, got the car up on the lift. So now I'm gonna take our old trusty impact here and do our first cosmetic mod. So we have some new wheels in this, which I'm not sure if I mentioned. So in just a moment, we'll pop those on and show you guys what the new setup is going to be. I'll pop off the front. I have different lug nuts on those, so I gotta switch over the socket. Alright, so here is the reveal. Might have to cut down these extended lugs. Alright, so I had a slight mishap when I finally got into this. I noticed the lug sides were too tall or too long, so I had to trim these down to get them to fit. But I also noticed that the previous owner had put 12 by 1.5, I don't know if you could see that, on the rear, but the fronts are the factory 12125. So I just had to go and get some new tuner lug nuts from O'Reilly's that will fit in the holes without having the socket scratch up the wheel. So now we're just gonna adjust our arms just to kind of suck in the wheel a little bit, just because it's poking quite a bit, which we can do. I had to raise up this a smidge just to clear the over. But once we start to dial in the alignment more, we can rechange our ride height as needed. All right, so we just finished getting on all of our wheels, front and rear. So we adjusted our ride height up in the rear, and we had to take in our upper control arm all the way. And that kind of gave us a lot more tucked fitment here. Still a little bit of poke. We may have to go up on ride height more, but now we're up higher on the lift. So we're gonna pull off at least the front section of our exhaust. We have the material to make a whole new one. So I'm debating just on time frame wise what we have to do, because we do have to change that turbo setup. So I'll probably just start pulling it off here, and then we're gonna drop the car back down and take everything off from the top. And then we also have to do our intake side as well for the new manifold. So let's pull this off. All right, so now that we have these out here, we have to get way up in here and get these 5 downpipe bolts from the bottom and the top. Downpipe will drop out, and then we'll be able to disconnect our oil drains, and the feed lines are on the side of the block, and then we can pull out the whole turbo setup from the top side. Obviously you can't pull anything from down here with the rack in the way. If you take off your wastegate, you got to be sure to not lose your fire ring here too, because this is what seals against your manifold. So make sure I've set this to the side, or take it off, put it somewhere safe. And now we're just gonna start taking off our piping and manifold. I got a few of the bolts loose from down there. We're gonna need to get the rest from up here, or just work a little bit at a time because it's so tight. You can't really get much room in there. Here's the old turbo setup out. So what we had before was a stock manifold with a China 2871. We welded the external gate to the stock manifold, but now we get to put on our Artec and G25 setup. So just gonna clean up the side of the block here because all the coolant and oil ran out, and then we can slap on our new stuff. Yeah, so once you get the dipstick out of the way for the first time, you can really just bolt it back there, but I'm probably gonna get some new hardware because I just have these like giant nuts here and they're a little goofy, and then one's a different size than the rest. So I just wanna get everything the same. And then we'll fit the turbo. There are specific rings depending on the turbo you have that we need to put in here. So I'll show you guys what works with the G series. We'll get our wastegate swapped over to the bottom, and then we'll start building our downpipe. All right, so we got some new hardware bolted on our manifold. And now the way to see which ring you need, because it comes with 3 of these guys. So I have the proper ring out. So there's this raised lip here, and this is gonna go on your turbo side, like so. And then you see that you have the right one when it's flush like this. And then the flat side is gonna go onto the turbo like so. So it's probably easier to put it in the manifold first. You'll put it like that, and then the turbo will drop in, and then we can work with the clocking to put the outlet in the correct spot. All right, now that the turbo is mounted, we're gonna move over to our intake side, start taking this apart so that we can get our new manifold on. And we're still waiting on our injectors to get here, but those should be here Thursday or Friday, so a day or two. And may have to relocate our fuel pressure regulator, but we can show you how to set up the fuel lines for proper feed and return, because you want to come off your filter, go through the rail, out of the rail, and into the regulator, and then back to the return of the tank. All right, so intake side is out. We can reuse our thermal take gasket here. This is a multi-use gasket. It's like a thick plastic. And then just kind of tuck our wiring down under here like normal. We'll put our manifold above, see if we have to move our ground at all up here. We had one down here that was on the bottom of the lower intake manifold, and may have to just put this to the engine block, or just get like a longer one if that one's not gonna reach. All right, so we got our new manifold here. Just pre-swapped our TPS on. The plug is gonna be facing up. You kind of have to finagle it to get the arm on the lever. on the inside, so it's a little difficult to do, but just put it on like that. And then you just line up your stud. So I'm gonna have to move this intercooler pipe out of the way and take this off real quick. And then I'll be able to put this on and we can figure out what we need to do with the piping. All right, so we got our pipe out of the way. So this basically just goes on like this. And yeah, see, now our fuse box is in the way for this. So we just need to move this a little bit, but we are relocating this with the PDM that we have. So you can see our throttle body hits, which we could take off the throttle body if we do want to not move this, but it really doesn't matter because we are getting rid of that. All right, so just for the sake of the video, we just pulled off the throttle body just to kind of show how it would be done on a factory car, because most people are going to have the fuse box here. So this goes on like this. And you have a couple nuts. It's a flange nut for these ones, typically. And you just get it started there. And down in the bottom left, there's another nut spot. And then you can just start putting in all your bolts. And this is, if you can't get a good view here, this is how it's just gonna end up looking overall when you get it all mounted. So then that's where the throttle body interfaces with the fuse box. So likely you will have to relocate that if you are keeping that anyways. And then we're just gonna have to redo our pipe here. All right, so I had ended the video, so I'll probably put this clip in before, you guys will see it before the end. But apparently it does fit, and you'll notice, oh wow, there's a huge change here. What changed? I was going to unplug the alternator, and I saw that the power steering line was interfacing with it, so I went under the car, and this whole engine mount was completely blown apart, and the engine was basically just sitting on the subframe. So the whole positioning of the engine was off. So that's why nothing was fitting as it was wanting to. So I just have it shimmed up right now with a piece of aluminum pipe cut, and we're gonna replace those mounts, and then that's what we'll probably pick back up. But yeah, so that'll probably kick off for this video. Just getting the main things installed. We're still waiting on our injectors to put those in, and then I'll just probably get all that started to get pulled out, and we'll work on getting our wastegate on and start fabbing material for the exhaust. I'm gonna probably just make a full brand new 3-inch exhaust. And yeah, I still need to get some argon because we ran out on the JZX video. And yeah, just pretty much get this all cleaned up for the event coming up next month. We have, I think, 3 weeks now to complete this car. So we're gonna try to do it all in a week, tune it, and just make sure it's testing fine so that it does not break. So yeah, catch you guys in the next one. See ya.